I started having back pain, which came back a few times.
I'm a retired nurse. I'm also a widow, so I was home, sort of isolated.
Several years ago, I was living in a tent for some time.
Take your mark, go!
My name is Alex Zernick. I live in Torrington. I'm 17 years old. I go to Torrington High School. I'm a junior. I'm from China and I'm adopted, so to be brought here, I know that affected me a little bit. It hasn't affected me back in the day, but now it's starting to affect me a little bit. My mother stays at home and while my father does all the working. And when I first started, my mother would be bringing me everywhere. It's a lot, and my parents try their best to let me be able to do all of this. I go to school, I do my best in school, and then I come to practice. I've been swimming lasers this is going to be my 9th year doing lasers, and this is my 3rd year doing Torrington High School swim. I just started lifeguarding here at the Y. When Dave Steele first started being the aquatics director in Winsted, he saw me in lessons and said it's time for me to move up to lasers. Lasers has been a lot of fun, especially with all the friends I've made. I'm not a loud person, I'm more of a quiet, reserved person, especially in school. I just go there and do my work and leave. But I know with swimming, it gives me confidence and gives me the friends I need to be more confident, be more social. I try to be like the most motivating person I can be. I cheer a lot, I high-five people, I fist bump, I congratulate them on the races. I hope I definitely motivate others, especially now since I'm an older kid. I want to like motivate the younger kids like the older kids did with me. I know like personally, if I learn a lesson in one area of my life, I can translate it to another area of my life. I know swimming and all the time in the pool, it helps clear my mind and think about stuff that's going on in your life.
I'm Haiti Campoberde, and I'm 15 years old, and I go to Torrington High School. I went to Rise and Star Camp when I was 7 and then continued going through the LIT program. You shadow the counselors, help the kids, just train to be a counselor, and you learn leadership skills. I would help out the counselor with bringing equipment for the games, bringing the kids to change, making sure there's no one else in the changing huts, making sure like all the kids were where they were supposed to be. I've learned how to handle different situations better with kids and with anyone in general. If anyone's just stressed out, just give them a second to breathe. Try to help them if they want. If not, you can just listen to them. But I really do enjoy being at the camp because it does have a lot of memories for me. And meeting new people every year is very interesting and very fun. The program definitely made me see things in a different perspective. Like I understood that different people go through different things. And it is very sad at the end of the year when you have to say goodbye to everyone, especially after all the memories you made and like you have connections with them.
My name is Michelle. I work as a transition coordinator, getting people from nursing homes and hospitals back into their own homes. I have 2 sons, both that went here, and my husband, of course, and he works for the National Guard. So I worked for the Y about 10 years ago, a couple years out of high school. I worked in the child care program, and then I left for another job. And then when I had my first son, I needed to go back to work, but I didn't want to put him in a daycare and not be with him. I couldn't handle that separation at that point. He came into the infant toddler program, and then I was in the preschool program, but it was nice because I could still go over there and see him, you know, during breaks if he got upset. And then when my second son was born, same thing. He started coming here at 6 weeks old, and it was nice because I did know the teachers, but he was also a very rough baby, and they were really good with him. They really worked with him and made me feel better. And my oldest doesn't go here anymore, but he He really liked the friends he made. He also learned a lot academically. He learned how to write his name, colors, his alphabet, how to point out the alphabet, shapes, numbers. My youngest, he's only in pre-K 3. He loves his teachers. He also loves his friends. He likes all the experiments and hands-on stuff they do, all the painting and the coloring and the hands-on arts and crafts. He's a huge fan of. They would not be where they are right now if it wasn't for the Y, especially because my husband and I work. So we would not be able to devote, even working from home, devote that one-on-one time to them all throughout the day, helping them learn. We were essential workers through the pandemic, so the Y stayed open through the pandemic and really went above and beyond with making sure the class sizes were small, they were isolated, but they weren't bored throughout the day. They weren't feeling the effects of the pandemic like the rest of the world. They still.
My name is Joe Baker. I live in Ashley Falls, and I've been coming to the Y for a couple of years now. Mostly when I started, I was doing just individual aerobics. I did a little bit of weights on the weight machines, and then did some swimming. And then I got a family membership. I have my wife, and I have a couple of adult children living in my house and a couple of grandchildren. So there's a lot of people who can come benefit from the Y. And my grandkids really enjoy coming in to swim because they just have a great time. Layla can swim, so we can do stuff underwater. And Roxy's still learning, so she's pretty much staying at the surface. Sometimes we get everyone in, and sometimes I just come myself and keep at it. The exercises helps me to stay healthy, and I started having back pain, which came back a few times, and so I've had to step up my exercise program to make that go away. It's like special time for me where I take care of myself, and it's helping me to be more fit. I'm really grateful to the Y for providing a place where I can work on my body so I don't have, pain in my back. That's been so helpful. Maybe we've all had the experience that after you exercise, your body feels more relaxed, and it helps me to be more present and effective when I work with people. So it's really a big payoff. I feel like I get all the time back that I put into it.
My name is Linda Rosenbeck, and I've been coming to the Y off and on since probably I was 20 years old. My favorite part, I would have to say, is a combination of the people who come here and the teachers. And I'm very inspired by everybody who comes in, so enthusiastic, and looking forward to just feeling better after. I'm a retired nurse. I'm also a widow, so I was home, sort of isolated, not exercising, retired, and I was looking for something to do. So I started coming here, and I fell in love with this Y. And for the first time in my life, I started consistently coming. This was like my new job. My new job was to now take care of myself. My job before was to take care of other people. And I made friends.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Allen. Tomorrow will be my 1-year anniversary here at the YMCA. And I love it. We take classes together. We encourage each other. She's my cheerleader, I'm her cheerleader.
If Cindy hadn't pushed me to try harder classes, I would be too afraid because I thought I couldn't do it.
It's given me a different push, and I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it.
Because everybody is just a person here, whether they're young or old. We're all friendly. We're friendly to young, old. We all get along. We all support each other.
I am Doris Richardson. I will be 95 in July, and I have come to Gear from Sheffield. My husband and I, we would walk 2 miles every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. We did that, and we were always very active. So after my husband died and I came to Gear, I started using the facilities here, the swimming and the Y right away. The YMCA was certainly a big consideration for my choosing to come here to Gear. I like swimming. I've been swimming since, as a young child, since probably 6 or 7. So I'm very, very grateful that, we have the pool here. I've had a knee transplant, so I work mainly on the machines for my legs. So I've done quite a few miles on those machines upstairs. So I enjoy people, I enjoy laughing, and so I just make the best that I can of each day. I have great faith, and that means a lot to me, and it gives me strength. So I'm very thankful that the Y is here.
My name is Timothy James Foreman. I've been residing here at the YMCA now as a resident for almost a year. Several years ago, I was living in a tent for some time. I worked several jobs to try to make ends meet. I have had regular housing at one time or another back in the day, but under circumstances, things happened. I had problems here with my heart, and I wanted an emergency room. My time for rent that had been due had been overly, too much, and the newer owners were not overly agreeable. Basically told me, you can pack up and leave. So I basically did. Fortunately, my sister-in-law, who happens to know a social worker, had kind of started part of this process for me, to get in touch with the housing and shelter and all that stuff. And coordinator, Dan Lamont, who's been very helpful to me. And I get along very well with the staff here at YMCA. I'm not an employee or staff, but they treat me like I was once. I'm very happy with the results of what has happened. For me, a positive way. Get yourself a place to live, get stuff straightened out, and get on with your life.
I'm Denise Butwell, and I am one of the coordinators and founders of Feed Your Neighbor, which is a collaboration between the YMCA and food pantries in the Northwest corner. The inspiration was really having a conversation with Deirdre DeCara, the executive director of Fish, and wanting to help those people that were on the front lines. I had a conversation with Deirdre about partnering with a restaurant, and she directed me towards George No Jame, and he's up in Winsted, and he runs No Jame's Bistro. In the beginning, I just felt this should be an easy problem that we could fix, that if you get a few people together, that this problem of not having food arrive at Fish could be addressed. And I felt hopeful that it was a way to look past the fear that was going on. If you say, oh, we're partnering with the YMCA, no one's saying, who's the YMCA? Greg was incredibly receptive. I don't think I hadn't finished pitching the idea to him 30 seconds before he said, we'd be happy to partner with you. So the YMCA adds a lot of legitimacy to the organization. I feel glad that we were able to help and partner. It was wonderful getting to know both Greg and George. Pantries still need support and they need food drives, but I don't think people are afraid to go into the stores now, and I'm very thankful for that. My hope is that someday we don't need food pantries, that everybody has enough money to go to the supermarket and buy what they like to eat.
If it wasn't for the Y, I definitely would not be the person I am today. I started young, so I grew up for a very long time in the Y, who has made me grow into the person I became today.
If it wasn't for the Y and Rising Star Camp over the summers, I probably wouldn't have gotten over my social anxiety as much as I did today. And I'd probably be still a little kid hiding in the corner.
I would say if it wasn't for the Y, my husband and I would not have been able to continue working through the pandemic, knowing that they were well taken care of, they were happy, they were still learning, they were still thriving, they were still getting that social interaction as much as possible.
If it wasn't for the YMCA, I wouldn't be as healthy or present or effective at work, because it's really helped me to strengthen my body and feel more fit and have more energy to get through life. And I'm very appreciative to the Y for providing the environment that I can do that in.
If it wasn't for the Y, I would be home alone. I would not be exercising, and my mood would be so down. So if it wasn't for the Y, I would not be the happy person and the healthier person I am today. And I'm very grateful, very grateful.
If it wasn't for the Y, it would be a major loss for me. So I'm very thankful that the Y is here. So it's a good part of my morning.
If it weren't for the Y, I don't know where I would have been had things did not turn out the way they did. So I'd say I'm very lucky and happy that they're nice enough to help me out.
Well, I think if it wasn't for the YMCA, Feed Your Neighbor wouldn't have been able to organize as quickly as it did, and it wouldn't have had the legitimacy that it had. YMCA allowed a citizen like me quickly react and help fill a need in the community. And I think that's at the core of what the YMCA is.